Mr. Joe Schoen just had his press conference where he was addressing a couple of the questions that the reporters were asking. This is the first time we heard from him since the offseason after we had big goals, big plans, big acquisitions. So it was very insightful to hear some things from him. Not too much to take away from him, but before we dive into that, man, subscribe down below. Road to 10K still active, man. Like the video. Comment down below your thoughts. Where are you at as a fan? We're going to dive into that in 1 second, man. So Joe Schoen went up there and had his press conference today, man. And a couple of things that he addressed, the biggest thing circulating the New York Giants right now, us as an organization, us as a team, and where we're headed is the quarterback position. And as you've seen, the Giants did get a win against the Patriots. And in my opinion, that kind of seals the deal on the Giants even having a chance at drafting a Caleb Williams or drafting a Drake May. Now, can a team like the Giants possibly trade up? Of course, it's always possible, but let's look at who's probably going to finish in the top two. It's most likely going to be the Bears taking that #1 overall pick because the Panthers aren't going to win a single game anytime soon. Frank Reich just got fired. Might make a video on that. But the #2 overall pick can go between the Cardinals and the Patriots. And I don't see the Patriots winning another game. Let's be honest. They were bad. We were bad, but they were bad as well. And that game was ugly yesterday. And at this point, I don't see the Giants ever getting less wins in order to move up in the position to draft a quarterback, and they're probably not going to move away from drafting a quarterback and trade away their pick. So that's just where I think the Giants stand right now in terms of drafting those two guys. Now there are other names that are circulating, guys like Jaden Daniels, guys like Michael Penix, a couple other quarterbacks that look intriguing, and they might not be taken high in the first round. Maybe the Giants will target them. Now, how did Joe Schoen address this? What were the type of answers that he gave? And he was pretty much just saying, he's committed to Daniel Jones, and when he's healthy, he expects him to be a starting quarterback from the New York Giants. Now, a lot of people were taking this quote and automatically running to, oh no, we got to fire him. We got to get rid of him. What is he thinking? Daniel Jones can't be the starting quarterback. Listen, relax. He was also saying that he needs to address the quarterback position in the offseason one way or another, whether that be free agency, whether that be in the draft, because guess what? Guys like Tyrod Taylor is going to be a free agent. Is he going to sign him back? Who knows? Guys like, obviously, Tommy DeVito, can we pencil him in to be our backup quarterback? We're not too sure. He's going out there and he's winning games right now, but would you commit to Tommy DeVito? Let's be honest. And if Daniel Jones is not ready to come off of the injury in the beginning of the season, what are we going to do at quarterback? He has to address it somehow, some way, and he didn't rule out drafting a QB. Now, did he say he was going to draft one? No. A couple of the answers that he gave was pretty much just saying that he's going to draft the best player available for the team and what fits. So that's not saying that he's not going to draft the quarterback. That's not saying that he's not entertaining it. But listen, we're in the middle of the season. He's not going to give out a quote like that and obviously put these players under pressure, put the quarterback under pressure. And once again, this is the first season into Daniel Jones' contract extension. We got to look at it that way as well. He's not going to put any added stress onto Daniel Jones, no matter what I believe or no matter what you believe. And once again, I'll let you know my take on it. I definitely think he's going to go get a quarterback this offseason. Whether it be, I don't want a free agency quarterback. I'm going to be honest. I hope we draft one and hopefully we can bank on him for the future. I could definitely see him drafting a quarterback one way or another, whether it's in the first, second, or third round. We just need to take one and see what happens 100%. Because I think whoever you take, they have a strong case to be the starting quarterback by week 1 next year. A strong case. Because I don't think Daniel Jones would be ready. But even without that, who knows what this quarterback's going to be. Maybe a guy like Jaden Daniels does step in and wows the teammates, wows in the offseason, and goes on to start in the regular season next year. This is a reach. We still don't know where we're going to finish, guys. We still don't know where we're going to finish in the NFL draft. The way this team is playing right now, we just won 2 games in a row. We're at 4 wins already. I think the bottom, which is we can't exceed that, is probably picking at number 10. We do have teams that we're going to play soon, guys like the Packers and guys like the Saints. Possibly those could be wins. The way this defense is playing, who knows? I still don't have that much faith in the offense, but, these guys are going to go in, try out, and try every single game. So we can't expect them to lose games, especially at this point. Not even just at this point, they're not going to go out there and lose games on purpose. So, I could see us winning a couple more games, and who knows, man, hopefully we don't fall out of the top 10 at least, because you already know we're in that wiggle room where, we're not going to make the playoffs, even though I'm seeing people say that we have a chance at the playoffs. I'll address that in 1 second. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're also not going to get a top pick, so we're going to fall somewhere in that middle. Obviously, I want to be closer to number 1 than closer to number 32. if I was taking it and we're not making the playoffs. So we'll see where this team ends up ultimately and see where they can draft. Guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., even guys like him kind of seem out of reach at this point, because he's going to be one of the first wide receiver taken off the board. Now it's just a matter of how high will he be taken off of the board. There's a lot of things that are going to take place in the offseason, and as you know, Joe Schoen was not showing his cards. He was not revealing any answers that we haven't seen already or thought of already, because he's not going to put out these narratives at the moment. There's no way he can. He doesn't want the media to talk like that. And then also, when it goes into the draft, you're probably not going to hear too much in the offseason either. But once again, there's still a long ways to go. Other things he addressed: Evan Neal possibly moving to guard. He said, no, that's not going to happen. We still have faith in him as a right tackle. Now, as a Giants fan, I'm kind of just over it. I'm tired of it. And listen, he's only a year and a half into his NFL career. He's missed some games due to injury. He's been missing games due to injury already this year. So I'm kind of just already fed up with it. But, the coaches clearly still have faith and trust in him, thinking that he can still get out of the hole. He mentioned looking at what he was in Alabama and saying that he's extremely talented. Listen, we haven't seen that level of play into the NFL yet at all. And I know he's already been through 1 year and he still missed some games, but there's only so much longer you can let this man go out there and try to block for your quarterback and get your quarterback hurt. There's only so much more time that we have for that. Now, the offensive line has looked a little bit better, and he's also out of the lineup. Does that give any confidence? Not really. Andrew Thomas being on the left helps the offensive line tremendously. But as you know, tackles are the bookend linemen that you need to sign and get them under rights. So if Evan Neal is not doing that and Evan Neal continues to struggle, we're going to have to try something. And I'm not a fan of moving off of him completely and getting him off the team, but I'm down to moving to guard. Put him at guard, see what he can do, and see where he ends up, man. I don't think that experiment is not going to happen at all. Joe Schoen ushered it away, but I don't think it's not going to happen at all. We're going to see what happens next year. And possibly, him committing to Evan Neal, maybe they're not going to go draft a tackle high in this NFL draft. We'll see. I still expect them to draft a lot of O-linemen this upcoming draft because this team needs it. No matter what quarterback you add, you need some offensive linemen. Another thing he addressed: Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale. So I was going to make my own separate video on this, might still, but I definitely had to address this press conference overall. The reports came out before the game that they were saying that Wink Martindale and Brian Daboll are so fed up with each other that, mutually one of them is going to part ways before the end of the season. And most likely that would have been Wink Martindale, not Brian Daboll, the head coach. Now, I've been torn on this, right? And I've been torn on this because do I believe that Wink Martindale has coached this defense to be a top 5 defense in the league? No. They've shown flashes and they showed that they can play well. But you guys let me know how you feel about this and about what I'm going to say. Wink Martindale struggles against good QBs. Flat out. He can make the bad ones look bad, but the good QBs continue to torch us no matter what it is. And that's not the offense's fault, even though the offense is the worst offense in the league, and we know how we feel about the offense in the New York Giants. But Wink Martindale continues to get torched by guys like Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts. We haven't even played Jalen Hurts yet, but you saw what happened last year. And other good QBs. Josh Allen struggled a bit, but look at the Bills right now. They don't even look like a strong team. Overall, you got guys like Brock Purdy completely destroying us. The whole blitz method that you're going to pressure him, Brock Purdy handled that perfectly. So up until this point, I have yet to see Wink Martindale play well against a good QB. Last year is last year. Last year he played well against Lamar Jackson, coached well against Lamar Jackson and other quarterbacks last year. But clearly it's not holding true this season. You guys let me know what you guys think about that. Maybe I'm tripping. All I know is that once again, when he goes up against guys like Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Sam Howell, he makes the young QBs look like they don't belong in the league, and you love to see that. But when you go to the playoffs, you're going to face great quarterbacks. You're going to face good quarterbacks, and even you could argue the Vikings game that we played last year and we won in that playoff game, did the defense stop them? It was mainly an offensive shootout on both sides of the ball. So that's just where I stand on it. Now, this coming out that he's arguing with Brian Daboll, and possibly is maybe because, once again, Brian Daboll is an offensive coach and we got the worst offensive league, putting the defense constantly in bad situations. And you've seen it was also talked about with Xavier McKinney calling out his defensive coordinator, and at the same time, Brian Daboll letting him break down the huddle. Brian Daboll still putting him out there as the captain to do the coin toss. I can see definitely that's where they butt heads, but they clearly put that to rest after the game by Brian Daboll giving him the game ball Now, was that for the media or was that for their relationship? We have yet to see. Probably going to make my own video on that. You guys let me know what you guys think about that down below. And last but not least, man, once again, the Giants took care of business against the Patriots. We won 2 in a row. You know, there's some speculation that maybe the Giants can make the playoffs. I'm letting you know right now, I'm not looking at that at all. This team won 4 games, and sadly, you know, the win column, we're only back by 1 or 2 to be in the hunt. You know, and we're going against teams that are ahead of us, guys like the Packers and the Saints, that you can shake that up and maybe we're going to be in the hunt now. I'm putting that to rest. I'm not thinking that there's a chance for that. You know, maybe they could. Maybe they can go out there and still win some games and possibly make a run with Tommy DeVito at quarterback, because clearly it's working right now. You know, going into this week, the Giants have a bye week, a week to get healthy. Tyrod Taylor can possibly come back. Darren Waller can possibly come back soon. Who knows where this team can go? But just standing at this point, man, I'm just not going to forget that what happened in the first half of the season happened. You know, that's just what I'm standing at. And, you know, if we do go on a run, cool. If we do go on a run, that's great for the team morale and for the team overall. But I'm just not going to overshoot ourselves and think that we have a shot, because we got to win a lot more games. So we still have people to play like the Eagles that still have to come in and play us this season. So that's where I stand on that, man. Once again, I got more content coming through this week on those specific topics. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But let me know how you feel about it down below, about that press conference, about all these different topics. You let me know how you feel about that. Subscribe. Road to 10K still active, man. We're going for 2K before the end of the year, y'all. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We're hitting 2K before the end of the year. My first goal was going to be 1K, and we're already close to 2. So shout out to y'all for that, man. If you haven't seen my other videos, I got more videos right here. Let's go Big Blue. Peace.